Hi! In this video I will show you how to operate the Aux Sends in the Mackie 1604 that we have in the studios at CSM. So we want to show you how to send the dry signal to the FX Lexicon processor so you can add some effects to your projects. Okay, so let's get right into it. We did like a basic videos of how to operate the Mackie and set up the gain stage. We always started from the top and then we went to the bottom. However, we skipped this section, which is the Aux Sends and the EQ. So we're going to focus on the Aux Sends for this video because we want to use them to send the signal to the Lexicon and process that signal. So we're going to start the same way. We're going to start from top to bottom and then I'm going to move to the other side of the mixer. Okay, so I want to connect the microphone to using the box that is here that goes from 1 to 6. In this case, I'm going to use microphone 5 for that. You might remember that this is a condenser microphone that will need phantom power in order to turn it on. So we want to go to the mixer, make sure that the volume is down on the volume of the speakers. Turn on phantom power. You should see now here the phantom power indicator on. And we're gonna go ahead and set up the gain to that mic. So for mics, we set up our gain at 2, then we bring up the volume of the fader to unity level until we see signal. Then we want to send that signal to the main mix. And now we see here the volume of the signal of the microphone. It's looking good, it's looking a little bit low, but that's fine. Finally, we can just turn up a little bit the volume of the speakers and we should be able now to hear the speakers. Okay, so now what I want to do is to send that signal to the Lexicon MX400. In order to do that, we need to use the Aux Sends. So Aux Sends are gonna basically send the dry signal to the Lexicon. Then the Lexicon is gonna process that signal with whatever effect you might want to apply. It can be a reverb, delay, chorus, flanger, etc. And then you want to return that signal into the mixer again so we can hear the wet signal. All right, so let's do that. There are a couple of things that we need to be aware of. So the Lexicon has 2 stereo processors, which is very, very useful because you can have like many different setups. You can combine effects in different ways. So the way we send the signal from the Mackie to the Lexicon, for example, we have input A and input B. Input A is a stereo, that's the same as input B. That means that the left channel and the right channel are separate. That's basically what it's saying is that Aux Send 1 is going to be our left channel and Aux Send 2 is going to be our right channel. So we want to turn up both of those. That is going to send them to the master output. So remember that in the same way that for these faders, they all have a master or main mix fader, which is this one over here. We also have, this applies for this mixer, the Mackie. This has master send for auxiliary send 1 and 2. So we need to turn up those 2. And then remember that you also have to turn up the volume of your input. In this case will be input A. Now, as you can see, we have signal here in both channels. That signal is being processed by the Lexicon effect. We can, tweak here the effects, select a different effect. In this case, we have a combination of 4 effects. We have gated reverb on 1, which is Aux Send 1, vocal hold, vocal on Aux Send 2, and then 3 in Aux Send 3 spring and the studio in Aux Send 4. For now, we're gonna take care of gated reverb and vocal hold. Once the signal is processed, we need to send it back to the mixer. And for that, we're going to use the stereo returns. So we will need to turn up the volume on one knob. In this case, it's only 1, not 2. Why? Because it's stereo. So this knob is going to affect both channels, 1 and 2. As soon as I turn up this volume, now you can start hearing the effect. So right now, we have a combination of the gated reverb and the vocal hold. If I only want to hear one of the effects, I can go either to the master section or to the channel and turn down one of them. So let's focus on gated reverb. 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. So that's my gated reverb. You can see here is only sending the signal to channel left channel. Now let's do the opposite. Let's hear 1, 2. the other effect, which is vocal hold. For this purpose, maybe just let's change the effect so we can hear the difference. So maybe we're gonna select the pong delay. Check, 1, 2. Okay, so now I have the pong delay, and in combination with the gated reverb sounds like this. 1, 2, check. In the same way, I can do the same for 3 and 4. In this case, let's change the effect for 3, maybe for 4. Let's change 4 and send it to be a delay. Tape delay. Okay, so if we want to hear effects 3 and 4, we want to turn down volume of 1 and 2, and now focus on these two knobs. Be aware that this mixer has an option to shift. Instead of 3 and 4, send it to 5 and 6. However, we will only be using 3 and 4 for this purpose. So we want to send the signal from 3 and 4. Be aware that these 3 and 4, they don't need a master. They don't have a master section on the mixer. So that signal will be sent to now input B. 1, 2, and you can see it's here. Hello, 1, 2. So that signal is being processed, we just need to return it. In this case, we're gonna use now a stereo return 2, because 1 is for 1 and 2, 2 is for 3 and 4. Let's turn down 1 up, check. And I have 2 effects at the same time right now. 1, 2. If you can hear, I have the delay, of course, is very prominent, but also there is some spring reverb. If you want to differentiate those, I can turn down my tape delay and now focus only on the spring reverb. 1, 2. Now, if you want to have all at the same time, of course you can do it. So let's turn up all 4 aux sends. 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. And that way you can have up to 4 effects into one source. You can also apply it to 4 different sources. So each source can have different effects. So you can have up to 4 different effects in your projects if you want to record all at the same time. So now let's try recording something in Logic so I can show you how that affects a track. All right, so let's do the same now with a Logic track. I have a saxophone here in Logic, and I want to apply some effects that I already have in the Lexicon, and then record that. So let's just hit play, bring up the volume. Remember that for the computer, we don't need the gain because that one is a digital connection, is via USB, so we don't need the gain knobs. Okay, we have our lovely saxophone dry. Now let's apply some effects. So I'm gonna start with the gated reverb. I have to go to the master section and then return that effect. So far I have only the gated reverb. Now let's hear with the pong delay. Now for fun, let's hear it with the spring and the tape delay. So aux send 3 for the spring, I need to bring up the return. Remember that for 3 and 4 we don't have a master section, we just need to return it. So I'm going to use the stereo return 2. And finally our tape delay. Let's hear just 3 and 4. Now let's hear only 4. And now let's hear only 3. All right, and that's how you apply effects here in the studios with the Lexicon MX400. You can have up to 4 different effects in your project or in one track. Or again, you can have those 4 different effects into different sources like one for a microphone, one for a guitar, one for the keys, one for the drum machine, etc. So I hope you find this useful and see you in the next video.